Today, I'm going to be 100%ing the entire Megaman Zero collection. Except I'm going to make this as hard as possible on my smooth little gamer brain, and I'm going to go for 100% completion without taking damage. What are our goals here? Number 1, all 37 of these achievements. Split into 2 parts, one for the Zero games, one for the ZX games, mostly because it would be way too damn long of a video if I didn't do that. And number 2, S rank at the end of each and every mission where possible. This will require me not only to beat a certain amount of enemies, but to collect all items, take no damage, and to beat the stage in an appropriate amount of time. The way I ended up doing this was basically if I took any damage at any point, I would instantly quit whatever stage I was in at the time, restart from the very beginning, and try again. Is this the most optimal way I could have done this? Absolutely not. But do I care?
No.
And I think that about covers it, so buckle up, grab your Z-Saber, and let's dissect us some Mavericks. We start off a long time after the Mega Man X games, roughly about 100 years, give or take. Our main girl here, CL, a 12 years old? You can't make this shit up. Our main girl here, CL, the 12-year-old scientist, ends up finding the most badass Mega Man character of all time, just chilling after he sealed himself away in the Mega Man X games. At least that's how I think it went. Zero wakes up and he's like,
Time to fuck shit up.
and we get one of the coolest scenes in a Mega Man game. Oh yeah, Zero's back and ready to fuck shit up. First thing I do, however, is change the god-awful control scheme. This is the superior control scheme. Now gameplay-wise, it's the same as you know from older Mega Man games. We can jump, we can shoot, and like the series before this one, we can of course dash and wall jump. However, unlike the original Mega Man games and the X games, Zero can actually get a variety of weapons, forms, and abilities, not to mention being able to combo with said abilities, which we'll talk about a bit later. Now you may have already noticed the counter at the top of the screen. I'll have some sort of counter present for all the games, but for the first Zero game, we have 78 cyber elves we have to collect as we go through the game. Other than that, the first intro stage actually does have a couple of important things we need to do for this 100%. Namely, making sure CL takes no damage, otherwise our rank is going to go down. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. It's been a while. After spending some time trashing these garbage enemies, we finally reach the end of the prologue, and CL gets taken hostage.
Stupid!
But before Zero can start freaking out that his dinky ass buster isn't doing anything, an old buddy of ours tosses us a nice Christmas present. Zero's titular weapon of choice, the Z-Saber. And we make easy work of this fat ass golem. Oh yeah, this is where shit gets good. While the Z-Buster is a decent weapon sometimes, the Z-Saber is going to be our main canvas for painting the floors red with Maverick blood. Only in the Japanese version, but we don't talk about that. After we make quick work of that golem, CL looks at us and says, "We are the legendary Reploid Zero," and Zero's all like,
Huh?
"Who the hell is Zero?" CL then takes us into the door behind her into the next room and teaches us how to use the trans server.
Shiny.
We get our first S rank and can finally catch up on the last 100 years of Mega Man news. After that, we get our very first achievement, Rude Awakening, for finishing the prologue. CL goes ahead and tells us that X, yes that X, is trying to retire them, because apparently saying the word kill in a game about a virus that makes robots kill people is a bit much. She asks us to help, and we go ahead and say no. Roll credits! Obviously, I'm kidding. She actually won't let you proceed until you say yes, so we tell her we'll help her, and almost right after we get our second achievement, permission to enter, for going into CL's room. We go ahead and take the cyber elf in her room because Zero stealing from a 12-year-old is totally okay, because, well, he's Zero. And that's actually going to conclude our achievement hunt for a little bit, as each Zero game only has 5 achievements. CL asks us to go take down an enemy base, and I begin to wonder just how this resistance has gotten by all this time. But regardless, on CL's word, we're off to the races. Now, this is technically our first real stage, and there's not much actually to say about it. We make our way through tons of trash mobs, collecting some cyber elves along the way, and I do end up spending a little bit of time leveling up our weapons, because for those who don't know, Mega Man Zero uses RPG mechanics to teach Zero new skills. Kill an enemy, get XP, get a new ability for said weapon, etc., etc. The Zero games do make the grinding easy, however, because it's not about how many kills you get with a weapon, rather it's about how many hits you get, which means you can actually just stand there and hit boxes to level up your weapons. But for us, that makes these little purple spiky penis pillars the perfect dummies for getting our double slash on our Z-Saber. You can go ahead and fully upgrade your Z-Saber here if you have the patience, but I just opted not to. Finally, we reach the facility and meet with our first proper boss, Harpuya. He lets us know that he's going to kill the people below us by crushing them, proceeds to call us trash, shows us his easy to dodge pattern, and then gets split in half like last Thanksgiving's turkey. CL thanks us once again, and we grab the Thunder Chip. Now each chip adds an element to Zero's charged attacks and some of his EX skills. As you might have already guessed, the Thunder Chip can give us a nice little stun effect and is strong against flame-based enemies. We then make our way to the nearby trans server where we're hit with a mission success and another S rank to top off our first proper mission. CL once again reaffirms that we are indeed the legendary Reploid Zero, while Zero stands there still wondering who the hell that even is. Almost instantly, she gives us this look that says,
What are you waiting for? Christmas?
But she does end up giving us the escape unit in case we need to leave a stage, which of course we will never do. Well, it's the thought that counts. We finally have some time to look around the base and talk to Andrew, who we're going to need to talk to a crap ton for another achievement. For now though, he gives us our 10th Cyber Elf. Next up, we get acquainted with Servo. He is our guy. He's going to be making all of Zero's weapons. For now though, we're going to head back upstairs to CL, and she's going to give us some choices. Like in typical Megaman fashion, we aren't railroaded to a single linear route. We actually do get to pick and choose exactly which missions to take on, and it looks like here we have Sandstorm Hellscape or Lava Death Factory. So many fun vacation spots. I opt for the Find Shuttle mission. CL goes ahead and tells us what's up. Apparently some Reploids hijacked a plane, then proceeded to disappear above the desert, where it's now our job to go and join the scouting party and find them. Sounds easy enough. Well, don't count on it. This is one of those missions where you just gotta look at the stage for 2 seconds and know it's going to suck. This is one of the shorter stages in the game. In fact, we can reach the boss in about 40 seconds, but in this stage, reaching the boss and kicking his ass isn't the end of things. So what's this guy's deal? This is Anubis, hold on. Necromances the Third? Seriously? I swear, some of y'all need a PR guy or something to come up with better names. This is a nice, fairly generic boss fight. We jump over his cane, hit him a few times. He'll start summoning pillars, which we also jump over. Then he'll summon some zombies, which we can easily dispatch with jump attacks. We actually do end up earning our 3rd and 4th level of Z-Saber here in this fight, before we split my man Necromances the Third down the middle, just like the previous boss. We take some time to talk to the injured Reploid, and then the stage really begins. Now we have to walk this guy all the way back to the start of the mission while keeping us both safe. Don't you just love escort missions? In fact, I just wish there was more escort missions. I definitely love dealing with them and totally don't want to absolutely rip my hair out for the amount of time I spent trying to walk this guy back to the start, only to randomly get hit by a stupid goddamn bird. Regardless, while we drag his sorry ass back to the start, how about you click that like button to show some love and support? This video did take a long time to make, and I'd really appreciate it. But with the boss down, the Reploid rescued, finally we report to CL and earn ourselves our 3rd S rank. Worth it? Maybe. I take a quick detour here before our next mission to go pick up a Cyber Elf just outside the Resistance base. Take another quick stop to talk to Chubster Dum Dum, who's practicing his Snorlax impression by sitting in our way and not letting us pass. He asks us for some crystals, which I happily obliged to, and we talk to the Reploid we rescued last mission and grab a nice little Cyber Elf while we're at it. We go talk to CL again, start our next mission, and she straight up says, "Remember where we met? Go get my data." Period. Zero, of course, being the good boy he is, heads back to the starting area where nothing really remarkable happens till we reach the boss room. Our next boss fight, however, is up against Cannonball the Elephant here. We equip the Thunder Chip, which can be used to stun Big Boy if you can actually aim, which clearly I can't. We take our sweet time with him until he's weak enough to get cut in half like my grandfather cutting a watermelon. And of course the place is collapsing, because things can never be easy. We brute force our way to the factory, or whatever you want to call it, and get back to CL with yet another S rank under our belts. And finally, we stop by the lab and collect our first weapon that isn't the Z-Saber. So this is the Tri-Rod. And the cool thing about it is, unlike the Z-Saber, the Tri-Rod can attack in all 8 directions and even pogo off enemies. Kinda like some sort of Hollow Knight or something. I make another quick pit stop back in the last mission area for a Cyber Elf, and CL orders us to attack a train. Why not? Every good game needs a good fast-moving train section. And besides, I get to show off how cool the tri-rod is now. Look at this. Boing, boing. We collect another cyber elf, kill this thing for a cyber elf, then board the train, which just so happens to decide to move right at this very second. Making our way through the train, we kill a couple of enemies over and over for some more cyber elves, and finally, we beat this boss as the way classic Megaman would have been proud of.
Jump and shoot!
With this mission a success as always, we head back to Hunter Base and pick up the best weapon in the entire game, the shield boomerang. Now you may be wondering, Rarno, how the hell is the shield boomerang the best weapon?
That's a good question.
In Mega Man 01, the shield boomerang has the unique property of canceling your Z-Saber just by holding it up. Zero struts back into CL's office, I guess, and she informs us that there's a hidden base somewhere in the desert. You couldn't have dug that up when we were in the desert, CL? Oh, whatever. We make our way back, head underground, and find us a nice hidden base just chilling here. There's some reploids locked up on the inside, so like any good protagonist, we free them all stealthy-like. Once the prisoners are safe, we head through the boss door and come face to face with Mr. Tall, Dark, and Icy. His attacks are cold, wet, and slippery. Kinda like my past relationships. Even without our shield boomerang, however, we make quick work of him and turn his corpse into an explosive ball of Swiss cheese before taking the frost chip and reporting our god status back to CL. CL gives us the same look as she always does, not too fazed by the fact that I haven't even taken damage once. Bet X couldn't do that. CL tells us her dream of a peaceful life far away from Neo Arcadia and asks Zero if he would come with her if that happened, when suddenly... Okay, seriously, what is it now? We're told a giant Mechaniloid is attacking the city where our base is, and like a bat out of hell, Zero rushes out to deal with it. Somehow, this thing falls from the sky right in front of us, and we take care of this the only way Zero knows how. By cutting it up, of course. We can also take time here to pogo off the boss with our tri-rod to get the other cyber elf we skipped earlier in the game. Eventually, with enough patience and persistence, the Mechaniloid goes down and we're awarded with another cyber elf for successful mission 8,715 complete. Or something like that. I've lost count of how many missions CL has tasked us with handling at this point. The good news, however, is everyone is safe and we earned a new title for being a god at this game. Immortal. I used the hole the Mechaniloid opened up for us to drop down below for another cyber elf. We stop by the base for all but 3 seconds when CL says, "Energy running out," and Zero makes like a gymnast and leaps into action. Seriously, CL, after all this is over, we really need to talk about you running this show. We take a mostly automated and slow ride through the factory while sidestepping some phallic zappy arms and eventually make it to the boss room. I make good use of the tri-rod here and spend some time poking the boss to death without breaking a sweat. Boss goes boom, and we collect the third and final chip, the fire chip. If it wasn't obvious, this one changes our element to fire.
No, really?
Back to Resistance HQ and instantly leave when CL lets us know that some soldiers need help dealing with some enemies. I guess I can cancel my plans of relaxing for 3 minutes. We make our way quickly and stylishly through the desert and finally reach the end where we come face to face with someone new and interesting. This is Fafnir. He introduces himself as one of the 4 guardians of Master X. He lets us know he's nice and excited. We tell him to calm down because the game is
rated E for everyone.
And he definitely doesn't like the fact that we did that, and we begin to fight. Fafnir, for the most part, is a fairly slow fight. He has a grab attack he loves tossing out when you get close to him, and the hitbox can be pretty unforgiving, so I prefer to take single pot shots at him and spend the rest of the fight dodging. You'd think with all the time I spend dodging this fight I'd burn some calories, but too bad for us, Zero's a Reploid, and my thumbs aren't on a diet. Eventually, he goes down and tells us we really got him excited. He then shoots us a look that says, "Can't wait for our next romp," and disappears on us. I take another quick pit stop to grab a cyber elf from the gate leading to the desert and head off on another mission. This time, one of our allies found their way onto an enemy base through the subway tunnels and hasn't been heard from since, so it's our job to go find him. This stage is actually pretty cool because we get to use a bit of each weapon since the enemies are positioned pretty perfectly for the tri-rod and the shield boomerang. Eventually, we find Colbor along with another one of X's lackeys. This time it's Harpuya. He shows off that he's at least 2 times as cool as Zero because he's got 2 times the swords and begins flying. Now Harpuya's pattern can get a bit out of control. Honestly, if I didn't know any better, I'd say he's signaling the Morse code for give up. Thankfully, I'm too stubborn to care. We clean him up even nicer than my kitchen when my mom stops by and start making our way back to the base where we know CL is just going to make us leave right after we walk through the door. CL lets us know that we're getting hacked and that's a big no-no. Back to the desert we go. We make our way down the hole same way as before and eventually reach the caves where, it's not frozen anymore. As we make our way through here doing our thing, we come to the hardest challenge in the entire game. Getting on the damn boat and collecting this cyber elf. I swear to you, the amount of times it took to get both of these jumps is longer than my last relationship. We cut up the computers, jump into the water, equip the shield boomerang and fire chip for the next boss fight, and we're suddenly introduced to our next Guardian of X. Now this is, hey, wait a minute. That's a woman. I gotta go, guys. Just give me a bit. So, you're a robot? Sorry about that, guys. Had a date night I couldn't miss out on. Where were we? Oh, right. She introduces herself as Leviathan and tells us not to go easy on her just for being a woman. Zero, being the gentleman that he is, shows her in about 11 seconds that he doesn't discriminate. Leviathan gets upset that we didn't kill her because mercy is for fools, yada yada. And once again, we head back to base and hop into our next mission. Are you sick of me saying that yet? Well, don't worry, we're closing in on the end of the game pretty quickly. Our mission starts and almost instantly we're bombarded with Kunai and the boss of the stage who introduces himself as Phantom. The final of the 4 Guardians, but I prefer to call him the boss that is made for the sole purpose of showing just how awesome the shield boomerang can be. After taking him down, we make our way through the stage nice and slow because getting hit now would mean redoing the boss fight and I definitely don't want to handle that again. We have about 3 minutes to disable 8 bombs so the factory doesn't blow, and we make easy work of that as per usual. Finally, we get a little time to rest. I mean, I've been jumping from mission to mission this whole time and... Oh, for fuck's sake! Turns out we're being attacked. No rest for the weary. CL quickly hits us with a bombshell of lore and reveals that not only did she found Neo Arcadia, but she was the one who resurrected X. We don't exactly have time to hash this all out, so we go through the base saving our friends and evacuating everyone. Finally, with everyone safe, we enter the boss room. He calls us out of date and tells us his name is Hanu Machine, and we let him know we don't give 2 shits about his name and promptly slice him clean down the middle. She gives us a big thank you followed by a but it doesn't matter because X is alive. And Zero's like, so you want me to kill my best friend? Wouldn't be the first time. Zero has a few war flashbacks when CL pipes up and lets us know that we can't get to X because they can't crack the security. Then, out of nowhere, our buddy from the very start of the game who gave us our Z-Saber shows up and lets us know, I already cracked the security. Then he hits us with, kill that copy of me with extreme prejudice, which instantly lets us know that he is in fact the real X, or at least the spirit of him. Zero sets off, and we enter the end game. The final stage. This one begins, and we get our first shot of real greenery since the game began. Can I just mention how much this song slaps? Slaps harder than your dad when he's drunk. The music in this stage has got to be one of my favorite tracks in the Zero games. We're going to be facing a lot of bosses during this stage, so count them with me. Number 1, 2 statues. These guys kind of just fly around and shoot shit at you, so not a big deal, but it was definitely annoying to deal with since remember, a single stray bullet hitting us here means going all the way back to the start. Thankfully though, the first half of this fight goes down without much issues, and the second just takes an itchy trigger finger before we're able to move on. Oh my god, that bird came so close to hitting me. My therapist says I shouldn't put that kind of stress on myself. Once again, we take our sweet ass time getting back up to the top, and then we have to do something I cannot stand in this game. Pogo jumping. Now it's fine when I only need to do it on one enemy, but when I have to sequence pogos together, or god forbid sequence the swings in 0-2, just forget about it. I mean, this isn't Hollow Knight where I can pogo forever. This shit feels like hot liquid diarrhea. We do end up making it through though, and from there it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to the next floor where we can take on Spins Mackenzie for the second boss fight of this gauntlet. Another pretty easy fight where the boss gets done in by the shield boomerang trick. Just gotta make sure you stop his spins by hitting him in the face, and he goes down, losing his arms like General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith. Hey, you guys want to see a fun trick? Anyways, we move. And guess what? We just couldn't go one Mega Man game without disappearing platforms, huh? We make a stupid little blind jump and ride this platform to another stupid little blind jump for more cyber elves. I swear, sometimes I feel like my love for completing games is just torturing myself. On the bright side, this stage wasn't too bad. Honestly, while it probably, in my opinion, is one of the toughest stages in the first Zero game, if not the toughest, the future games were so much worse. But with that out of the way, who's ready for boss fight number 3? Yeah, another boss who acts big and tough, but when push comes to shove, he gets his whole strategy done in by a shield. Actually, when I recorded the footage for this back on my old PC, not only did OBS crash, which corrupted some of the footage, when I added it to Sony Vegas, which I was using for editing at the time, it further ruined the footage. Thankfully, all the other Zero games remain intact, but this one wasn't so lucky. We get the mission complete message, which means a checkpoint for us before going to the second part of Neo Arcadia. Funny, we haven't even had the boss rush yet and I'm already stressing out. Cyber Elf number 75, collected and tossed in our, Where does Zero store these things anyway? Whatever, I probably don't even want to know. Seal tells us not to push ourselves and then begs us to promise that we won't, which shows that she's kind of developing a little bit of a crush on Zero, but I mean, how can you not? Just look at that hair. Bro definitely uses L'Oreal. Zero responds to her by saying not a damn thing, and we move on to the next mission. Oh boy, another Mega Man staple we all definitely love, right guys? The elevator section. Woo! Annoyingly, unlike some Mega Man games, this elevator, even with all of Zero's cool abilities, is not skippable, so we have to suffer through hordes of enemies while we slowly move our way up. The good news is that with the Tri-Rod we can attack upwards, which does come in handy here. Eventually, the grueling ride is over, and we're able to make our way on foot precariously through a shit ton of spikes. Barely managed to scrape our foot on the tip of some spikes to grab Cyber Elf number 77, and it's finally starting to feel like the home stretch now, because this is the last Cyber Elf in the game. The 78 Cyber Elf, Jackson, is only obtainable after collecting every other Cyber Elf and maxing them all out without ever using them. So you know we got that in the bag since all my Cyber Elves spent the entire game being moral support. As we make our way up, Capcom decided that spikes and a shit ton of enemies weren't enough, so they tossed some electric death cubes in our way and called it a day. The design of this level is so cruel it makes my ex look like a saint. As we reach the top of this tower, we get a nice side view into the atmosphere, and then enter the boss room. As if the past few stages couldn't bring back enough countless Mega Man tropes, the boss here is the Yellow Devil, or I guess a version of him. How many of these guys have all the Mega Men killed at this point? At least 5 or something? As is true with every devil boss fight in this series, this one's annoying, so we spend most of the fight hitting him with charge slashes and then going for a regular ass combo till he finally implodes. We get our S rank screen and feel good about ourselves for about 7 seconds before realizing the boss rush is up next.
Oh shit, here we go again.
As we step out into the hallway, Ciel's there waiting for us. Don't ask me how she got here, considering the giant spiky hell elevator, but maybe that's why she leads the resistance. Zero asks why she came here, and she tells us that she's sorry for making copy X. Zero says it's not her fault, and she thanks us one more time before we walk ourselves to our inevitable doom. Before that, though, I do take a bit of time to head back to the desert and fully upgrade the shield boomerang, tri-rod, and buster to max level. We cleave our way through a bunch of trash like the real Zero would have, and finally make it to the boss rush room. Boss rush room. Damn, can't even talk now. I debated commenting over this, but I figured I'll let most of these fights rock, or at least just show the best parts. If you are interested in watching the full 1.5 hour Damageless run, I will link that in the description below. Enjoy these highlights, and I'll catch back up with you once these 4 go down. Alright, next section before we do our refights with the 4 Guardians. It's a super short section, so there's basically no reason to show it off. I just equipped the buster and took pot shots at enemies to avoid getting hit. Like before, I'll leave you to these fights, but if you want to see the video in full, like I said, it's down below. Or on the channel if you're interested. I just want to bring up that this is our last chance to get the 4th achievement, Icebreaker, for destroying Leviathan's Ice Dragon, so I'm going to mark that off right here. Now Phantom, I actually have reason to talk about, so even though this fight is basically the exact same as before, the ending will be different, and it will stay this way throughout the rest of the games. This will be the end of Phantom. So once Phantom's dealt with, he decides that even if he has to die himself, he'll take you out no matter the cost. If you do end up taking him down in a weird spot, the explosion he sends out at the end of the fight can damage you, and you'll need to jump over the puffs of smoke that he launches out, otherwise you'll be taking damage. But with him out of the way, nobody's left to stand in our way to X. Yeah, that's right, kids. Let mommy and daddy talk. X sends the now 3 Guardians away and spews his monologue at us like any villain does in a game, and I can finally show you guys one of the coolest fights in the Zero games. You are not prepared for these cool-ass combos. So in Copy X's first phase, he actually has no iframes, and he gets knocked back when you hit him. I'm unsure whether the devs intended it, but we can infinite combo X just by getting him near the wall. Absolutely decimated. Afterwards, Zero calls X weak, which doesn't make Ultimate Copy X here very happy. X decides to turn Super Saiyan or turn into the Megazord or whatever you want to call it, and we begin X vs. Zero 2.0. Just like back in the day, huh, buddy? After that absolute ass beating Zero just gave X, he collapses to the ground and Zero stands there roasting him for a bit, calling him naive, and then hightails it the fuck out of there, signaling the end of our playthrough. The real X talks a little bit about what he went through after Zero sealed himself away, and ends it off with "and I'll leave this world to you," giving us our last achievement of the same name. Zero takes one final look behind him to see an army standing before him, and does what any badass does. And so ends our 100% playthrough of Mega Man Zero completely damageless. If you made it this far into the video, comment down below telling me what games I should 100% go through in the future. Not all of them will be damageless, of course, but I am preparing to edit the rest of the Zero games as we speak, completely damageless, so stay tuned for those. Zero 3 and 4 are particularly very intense and stylish looking. Finally, if you have enjoyed yourself here today, then please do give the video a like, it helps me out a ton. Leave any of your questions, qualms, queries, or concerns down in the comments below. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to come on any future journeys with me? Hit the notification bell to stay notified, and I do hope to see you in the next journey. Bye-bye!